Hello, it's James here from Awaken Therapy, and today I want to talk with you about anger. Now, anger is a very strong energy, strong feeling, strong emotion. It tends to have a PR problem. Anger has a very bad reputation because anger is often expressed from fear. And when anger comes from fear, we could call it aggression. It's the cornered animal. It's the aggressive fight. It's the worst defensive aspect. Maybe I shouldn't call it the worst. Maybe it's part of being human. We see this as a survival feature. But when it's stuck in that sort of lower level of aggression, you might see it at a sporting event or when someone's feeling really threatened. And of course, that drives the most destructive things that really happen on this planet. I mean, eventually, wars are ultimately driven by this unhealthy aggression coming from people who have grievances or grudges or whatever. It's all coming from that fear-based consciousness. And our fear-based consciousness is our lower self, if you like. It's our more human self. It's the split mind, the separated mind. It's the part of us that feels separate and alone, threatened, vulnerable, weak, inadequate, small. Of course, miracles would call this the ego. And so the ego is our fear-based sense of self, feeling limited, small, and from there we feel threatened. It's all fear, it's all guilt, it's all grief, and anger in that fear-based sense is the expression of that part of us. Everything's out to get us. We're threatened in this scary world. This is how I have to defend myself. So anger, when expressed from that place, when it's expressed from that part of us, can be very, very destructive. I use the word aggression to sort of sum up that expression of it. But what if anger itself is something separate to that? What if that is only one option? If we put it on a pyramid, you would have aggression down the bottom there. There's one expression of it. And that would be outward aggression. Now, of course, anger as an energy, as our will, can also be expressed in another destructive way, and that is when we invert that. So this fear-based expression of anger outward, call that aggression, but if we're expressing that fear-based anger towards self, there's like an aggression towards self. This might be a putting ourselves down or a criticism or a self-loathing, a self-hatred. And this obviously can lead to risk-taking behaviours, not looking after ourselves properly, even self-harm, even taking our own life. These are all sort of inward expressions of that unhealthy rage. So outward, inward, fear-based axis. But as we go up to the love-based portion of it, what we find is that anger itself isn't a bad thing. In fact, anger itself is a wonderful energy. It's a wonderful energy. It's our divine will in action. Anger is essentially the expression of that part of us. So just getting the light right. Anger is the expression of our will to give us a spine. It gives us structure. It gives us discipline. It gives us a sense of power, control in an otherwise chaotic world. I often think anger as an expression of our will gives us a spine. Without that, we're just a jellyfish. And so I love will. The expression of our will is an essential expression of who we are. It's an essential expression of that divine energy. So it's not a bad thing. And when we're expressing anger from love, when we're expressing our will from love, that translates into assertive will, assertive boundary setting, assertive determination. It might be reflected in saying no to something that is just not right for us, not in alignment with our values, or we just don't want to do it. And it can be gentle. Assertiveness can be very gently expressed. It might be a simple, thank you for the invitation, but no, that won't suit me, or thank you very much, no, I don't want to pay that much, or whatever it is. And so assertiveness, because it's anger expressed from love rather than fear, can be very gentle, very peaceful, but it's very powerful. It's very determined. One of my favorite examples of the expression of assertiveness is the story of Jesus clearing out the temple. Now, apparently the temple area, the court area there, was quite a vast area. And, you know, the story, there's money changers and people selling animals for sacrifice. And it's become highly commercialized, this space that's meant to be a sacred temple. And however Christ went about that assertive will to say, no, enough of this, clearing it out, and apparently the people got behind him, yep, let's do this is a sacred space. But he did it in such a gentle authority that all the Roman guards didn't intervene. And you can imagine if there was a hint of fear, if there was a hint of aggression in it, the Romans would have shut that down in a flash. But apparently across the 20, 30 minutes or whatever it took to clear that space, the assertive will was coming from such a deep love that even though it was dramatic and effective, and it created a big change, it felt peaceful. And that's the kind of authority we want in our life, to get comfortable with anger. Anger is our friend. Anger is our ally. I do prefer the word assertive, or our assertive will. That doesn't have maybe the connotations of the word anger. But when you think of anger as the pyramid, and we've got aggression down here, outward or inward, and we've got assertiveness at the top as the loving expression of that will, then it's something we need to get comfortable with. It's something we need to reframe or have a new sort of relationship with, a new understanding of. And I hope today has given you that fresh way of looking at it and seeing it as an ally, as a friend, as something we really do need to honour, get comfortable with, because there's certainly times in our life where we need access to that assertive will to make things happen, to step up in certain ways. Yet without that, we're a jellyfish. With that, we have a spine, we have access to divine will, that you think of that as a masculine expression of the soul. That is an essential component for effective life on this planet.